Hey friends, welcome back to the Brookwillow Knit channel. My name is Anna and I'm coming to you from Wisconsin. This episode today is going to be another podcast about knitting and some spinning as well. It is the second day of fall, so happy fall, and it is a very moody day here in Wisconsin. It's supposed to rain in a little bit and I am looking forward to it. I'm going to do some spinning and some knitting after I film this as well. So a full day of fiber fun. So I am wearing the Marseille Sweater by PetiteKnit. I made this about a year ago using the recommended double Sunday yarn. And I went with like an olive green and this bright pop of red, and I absolutely love it. These are definitely my colors for sure, and I'm so happy because today is the first day that I get to wear it again. But yeah, let's just jump right into the finished objects. So my first one being another PetiteKnit accessory, and that is the Hipster hat. I am so happy with how this turned out. It's super stretchy. It's like the perfect fit. I could probably put it on for you. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so here it is on. I'll give you kind of like a side view of it. But yeah, perfect fit. Very happy. I used Madeline Tosh by Hedgehog Fibers yarn. They did a little collab where they used a bunch of scraps of yarn from their mills, I believe. I don't know if they have a mill, but they used scraps of yarn for the Tweedy bits, so I'll try to give you a close shot of those. So there's like all different colors within the hat, and it makes it super fun. And this colorway is the Dreaming in Light, and of course, as always, I'll have it linked down below in the description. This was a whip on my last episode, and you may remember that I didn't love the cast on that I did. It was a 2x2 tubular rib cast on, and it just looked like a little messy. So I solved that problem by just knitting it even longer and making it a double roll instead of one single roll up. And now we've got a clean edge all around. And yeah, I don't really have much more to say except that I absolutely love this hat, and now I want to make it in so many different colors. So much so that I ordered 2 more colors for it on KnitPicks, and I also got one to make a hat for Mitch as well, because I haven't made him any hats. I've made him 2 sweaters in the last year, but not even a hat, so that's all he'll get this year, maybe. My next finished object is one that you have seen for a while now, and that is the Everyday Socks by Andrea Mowry. I started knitting these back in May when I took you all camping with me, and it has taken me this long to finally finish them. And that's just because I was getting distracted with a bunch of summer knits and other projects as well, but I knew I just wanted to double down and get these done, and I finally did. So here is a close-up. I used KnitPicks Stroll Tweed, which is a sock yarn from them. Oh, there we go. And yeah, they have a whole line of beautiful colored sock yarn with Tweedy bits in it, and I'm very pleased with it. And I know it holds up well too, because I knit a pair of the Everyday Socks for my friend, and she wears them all the time. Every single time I see her, she has them on, which makes me so happy because she's very knit-worthy, and it's very lovely when you knit something for somebody and you see it on them all the time. So But with that being said, yeah, it seems to be that they have held up pretty well, and so that makes me excited to wear my own too. This is my 5th pair of everyday socks that I've made, and I think it's time to take a little break from the everyday sock. I just want to be able to explore other patterns out there and just switch it up a little bit. But I know for sure these aren't going to be my last because they are just the perfect staple sock. They fit so well, they hug your feet so well. I love them so much, but time to explore other paths. So that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I did for the first whip that I'm gonna show you. And sadly, actually, this whip is a fail. But I'm still gonna show it to you because I need some opinions. So I'll just go ahead and show you how far I got first. So I'm using 2 different yarns. I have some more Knit Pick sock yarn, and then I'm using some sock yarn that I got from Hedgehog Fibers. It's like super rainbowy and colorful and beautiful. But these were going to be the Luthien socks. I'll put a picture of them right here, by Kitty with a Cupcake. And I was so excited for this sock pattern. I've been watching Rings of Power and House of Dragon, and I've been listening to A Court of Thorn and Roses on audiobook, so I'm in like total fantasy land. So when I was looking on Ravelry for a different sock pattern, I saw this particular one and I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so like right up the vibe of all of the fantasy. And then I saw the name Luthien socks, and then she described that it was inspired after elven architecture, which I think is so freaking cool. They're just beautiful socks, and I feel like they're an awesome way to display some color changing yarn. I know she used striping yarn in it, and that looks really great as well. The issue I had was that I cannot, for the life of me, get these over my heels. So I'm using the recommended weight of yarn. It just said for sock yarn. And then I checked my gauge is on. But as I was knitting this up, I was like, this feels a bit tight. So I decided to try it on. And yeah, sure enough, like there's no absolute way that it's going to be getting over my foot. I did message her asking if she had any advice on what I could do to like rectify the issue, because I really do wish I could knit these socks. They're so fun. But I would have to start over because I already cut off the ends to just rip the band-aid off. But yeah, I haven't heard back yet. But I kind of have a theory that, and let me know your thoughts on this, that there's like no way you can do stranded colorwork socks with sock yarn. Like it's always going to be too tight. There's just not going to be enough stretch. And I don't knit colorwork super tight. Like the pattern isn't puckering or anything. I'll show you the floats on the inside. Can you see that? I cut a bit of the colorwork here because I noticed it was a bit tighter up here, so I was trying to see if that was the issue, so ignore that little bit. But my floats really aren't that tight, and I catch them with 5 or more stitches in between, so I don't know. I don't know if you all remember, but I was going to design a sock pattern like last November. The OG viewers may know. Because I was asking for names of it, but I ran into the exact same issue with those socks because it was a stranded colorwork sock pattern and I was using sock yarn and I couldn't get my foot over it and I just kind of stopped working on it. It quietly went away. But I have made other stranded colorwork socks not out of sock yarn. So I brought this down for an example. Sorry if they're all hairy or whatever, but so this is a pattern from the Scandinavian socks from Sari Nordland. Beautiful pair of socks, recommend. And I used Sadness Garn Finool. I know it's Finool for sure, which isn't like advertised as a sock yarn. There's no nylon in it or anything. And these get on my foot just fine, but they are a thicker yarn. So I don't know if that has something to do with it or not. Oh, also, by the way, I was worried when I made these that since it wasn't out of sock yarn, they wouldn't hold up. These are the best socks. I know I said that about the everyday socks, but these also are incredible. And I actually really think it has so much to do with that Finool yarn that I used. And also the fact that I ended up tossing them in the washer and dryer and they felted just a tiny bit, but it's the perfect amount. And oh, these are incredible. They're so warm. I love them so much. I made two pairs. I made a red pair and this blue pair. And I do actually think I might have some yellow of it left over. Maybe I'll make a yellow pair too, since I know these are gonna fit over my foot. But I also have done color work in sock yarn with using not stranded color work, and I can't find the pair right now, but I've made Andrea Mowry's Curio socks, and that's like alternating the color throughout the sock, and then you slip the stitches, so there's no stranded color work, so that's not an issue getting that over my foot. So I think it's just the stranded color work in sock yarn. But again, do you have experience with this? Do you know how I can go around making it fit over my foot? Do I really have to go up like so many needle sizes to get it to work? Because I just want this pattern to fit over my foot. And I should also mention, I was then going through Ravelry to see if anybody else had this issue, and I did notice there is not a single picture of these socks on somebody's foot. They just came out in the summer. I don't think there were any testers either. But yeah, no foot pictures. And there was somebody else who mentioned that they couldn't get it over their foot, so they frogged. I don't know. I was really bummed about it. As you can tell, I was really excited to make this pattern, but what can you do? The next whip I have, though, brings me so much joy. I haven't ran into a single issue with it yet, and I decided to bring it on a fun little adventure, and I brought you with. So let's go to that. hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Before I talk about the pattern for this particular garment, I want to talk about the yarn first, because it's extra special to me. And the reason why is because, well, the whole reason why I started this channel was I wanted to connect with people about knitting and everything related to it. And I finally was able to meet one of the people that I've connected with in person for the first time, maybe about a month ago. Her name is Michelle, and she has been watching since the very beginning, and her daughter has too. And we decided to go to a cafe, I'll call it, and sit and knit and chat. And I think we were there for about 3.5 hours, and it was so wonderful. And then she decided to mail me this yarn, which was so sweet of her. Thank you, Michelle. And it's just the perfect color. I love brown. We were talking about how much we loved brown. And it's a massive cone, so I think it's gonna get a few projects out of it. This is Holst Supersoft. I think the color is called Donkey. It says Donkey on it, so here it is. But yes, so I am holding it double for this particular garment, just to make it a little bit thicker of a fabric. And this is where I'm at so far. And I should say what I'm making. This is the Sotabosc. I've got the book here. Yeah, the Sotabosc by Elena Solier Jansa. Sorry if I mispronounced the name. But it's from the 52 Weeks of Shawls, and I'll show you what it will soon become. Hide my face. I am so excited. This is my first shawl. The moment I saw this yarn, I knew exactly that I wanted to make a textured shawl. And I'll show you one more picture of it. It's a little bit better here. Yeah, so the cable repeats on here are surprisingly easy to memorize. From a glance, it looks very complicated, but once you do the first repeat, or at least for me, I had it down right away. So this has become my traveling knit because I don't have to stare at a chart or anything to look at it. It's a little bulky to like fit all of this in, but I currently don't have a purse right now because I forgot to mention I was driving to work the other day and I brought coffee for everybody, and someone had hot chocolate too. And I was going through an intersection and there was no one else in the intersection except for the person in front of me, and they slammed on their brakes for no reason. So I had to slam on my brakes, and all of the coffee flew and dumped into my buku bag and all over one of these socks. I was able to save the sock. I like washed it, blocked it out and all that, and that was fine. But my buku bag, I still have to see what I can do. You can't really get waxed canvas wet. So I don't know how to wash it, but we'll see. Anyways, I'm just carrying around a big fabric bag now as a purse. So it does fit in it, but it's a little cumbersome, if you will. So this may soon not be a traveling project once it gets bigger, and maybe I'll cast on a pair of socks soon anyways that will replace that. But yeah, that's that whip so far, and I am just loving it. Like I haven't ran into any issues at all, and I don't really think I will, because basically you just knit into a triangle like that, and then there's like one more chart at the end, and then you're done and you block it. So I also think that this yarn will bloom a bit more with blocking too, which will make it just all the better as well. So I'll keep you updated on that as I go. Okay, so the last whip I'm working on is one you have seen, but I have made quite a bit of advancement on it. And that is the Matoaca Sweater by Linka Nuemann from the Wilderness Knits book. So last time we talked, there was just the strip down here, and I have finally gotten into the colorwork section of the body, and I'm almost done. I just have a few more rows to go at the top here. So this sparked a lot of conversation on my last episode, and the reason why being I was a little taken aback by the fact that I was going to have to essentially steek the arms. And I just want to say that I learned this is the traditional way of making a sweater in Norway. And I want to thank every single person who informed me of that, because literally every single one of you was so sweet, gracious, and kind in informing me of that. When the first person commented, I was like, oh no, I've made a grave error and people are gonna yell at me because I'm stupid and I didn't know. But every single one of you was so nice, so thank you. And I did learn that steeking arms and all of that is a traditional way of making a sweater in Norway. So basically you knit the tube and then you knit the sleeves and then you have to cut into the tube, I think. I'm not really sure yet. I still have to watch her tutorial, but I'm kind of like crossing that bridge when I get there. I will say it has slowed down my knitting a little bit, because the more I knit, the closer I get to having to do that. So I've really been taking my time with it, but I do love this color work here. You probably can tell there's like a little bit of puckering, and that's because the color work portion of it is a little bit tighter. She did say in the book that if you knit tight, to go up a needle size for the color work section. And I was like, well, I got my new Linka copper needles, so I don't knit tight anymore because they're metal, but I did notice that it was starting to kind of bend in a little bit here. So I quickly switched to a larger needle, and I think it's evening itself out a little bit more. I'm sure I could block this out a little bit too. There's still quite a bit of give, and the nice thing with this Lettlopi yarn that I'm using is it feels like pretty elastic, so I think I'll have room to work on it with. But yeah, I am loving this so much. To me, it's like the perfect fall palette of colors and a perfect fall sweater to be working on, and it also makes me so happy. I cannot wait to have it done so I can finally wear it. However, it may be a while till I can wear it because this is going to be a warm sweater, but like I said, the temperatures are already dropping outside. It's like a low of 40s, which I absolutely love. But yeah, that's what I have for whips this week. I have gotten some spinning done as well. Let me just get this out of the way. I finished a skein of yarn that I showed you all that I was working on last week. I think it was still on the bobbin at the time, but my friend Tara gifted me some Malabrigo fiber, the Nube, and I finished it. I just did a 2-ply, skeined it up, and I absolutely love it. Let's see the colors of it. It's just this perfect, moody, dusty purple, blue, gray blend, and I just can't get enough of it. I'm kind of contemplating. So Andrea Mowry is having the Spin It to Knit It make along, I guess, where they make the Weekender sweater, I think, and they have all year. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to participate in that. The only issue that I'm kind of running into is like it's all one color sweater, and it would have been cool to do the metamorphic one where you're using 2 different colors so you don't have to spin just all one color, but whatever. I still want to do it, and I feel like this could be a good contender for it. It's super soft, and I think it would make a really nice color for that sweater, but this is all I have. I would have to buy more, obviously. But I don't know, I might change my mind. At least I have an entire year to be able to make that. I have been still spinning on the cream fiber that I showed you last week on my wheel, and I'm plugging away at that. I think I'm almost halfway done with it, and then I'll kind of gauge to see if it's enough to make the sweater that I wanted to make from Woolfolk that I talked about in my last episode. If not, I can always buy more, but yeah, I am still just having so much fun with spinning. It kind of is turning into being like a weekend thing for me, because every time I sit down to spin, I go for hours and hours. Like, I just can't stop. And I put on an audiobook, and it is the perfect combination. So, having so much fun. And that kind of leads me into my acquisitions, because 2 weeks ago, my cousin and I went to a fiber festival, a really small one at a cidery in somewhat southern Minnesota. It was near Northfield, Minnesota, if you're familiar. It was a perfect landscape. Like, it was rolling hills, and they had like vines and trees and everything, and it was a full-on cidery. The cider was really good. They had grilled cheese and all of that, and then there was a fiber festival there too, and I just fell in love with everything. So the first thing I want to show you that I got from there is a braid of fiber, and I actually got 3 braids of fiber. So at this particular fiber festival, it had a lot of, pretty much all of the fiber there was just in their natural color, which I think is beautiful. There was some dyed fiber and whatnot too, but I was drawn to all of the natural colors. And this particular one stood out like from a mile away to me, because it is just this rich chocolatey brown. And there weren't any other colors like it. And this is alpaca as well. So I did the lap around, look at everything before I purchased anything, but I knew I for sure wanted to get this, so I bought 3 of them. And this came off of an alpaca named Prince Charming. And I guess every time you would put your hand in to pet him, he would give people a little kiss. So I thought it was really sweet. And the people selling it were able to show me pictures of him and everything. So it was really cute, kind of getting to know about where this fiber came from. And it is so soft. I am very excited to spin it up. So yeah, this is the first thing I got from there. I did get some hand soap. I don't have it down here. It's up in my bathroom, and it is just like the perfect scent of fall. That was lovely. And then I did end up getting a skein of yarn. So here it is. Also just completely natural colors. And I didn't mention where I got the braid from. I didn't grab a card or anything, so I don't know if I'll be able to find out, but maybe I can do some research on it. But this yarn is from the Lazy Farmer, and they do Icelandic sheep in Clear Lake, Minnesota. And yeah, I was immediately drawn to the marled look. They were all different colors of this, but I really liked this subtle tan and cream. And I do plan to, well, I kind of wanted to make another hipster hat out of this. However, I think it's gonna be very itchy. Just feeling it on my face. It might be too itchy, but I almost wonder if I could line a portion of the brim with something that's not as itchy. So like maybe make like that section a non-itchy yarn and then do the rest with this. I don't know, we'll see, but it is beautiful. Let me just give you a closer up look of it. Yeah, I wish you could feel this right now too. Like, yeah, it's itchy, but also the bloom on it too is very soft, and this just feels luxurious. Okay, so my last acquisition that I have is what I got from KnitCrate, and I'm really excited. I finally got a color that I wanted on the first try. So here they are. This particular box was inspired by like the Western sunset, and so really rich reds, oranges, purples, and they had like a gray color was the other color option. This is their Audine Wools Mellow in the color Setting Sun. It's 80% alpaca, 20% tencel, and it's a bulky weight. And I just love this red color. I don't wear a ton of red, but I love the color red. And I kind of want to incorporate it a little bit more into my wardrobe. I didn't know exactly what I was going to make with this, so I decided to go on Ravelry and do a little search based on it being bulky weight and the yardage that I had. And I have two options, but I think I'm gonna lean more towards one of them. And that is this pair of mittens. I'll put who it's by down here, I can't remember. But yeah, I don't have any hand knit mittens for myself. I have gifted them, but I don't have any for myself. I think these are beautiful, classic cable knit mittens, and they'll be super nice in the winter time, especially for how soft this is, being alpaca. But I may end up gifting them as well, because I want to do some gift knits this year, and I think my boyfriend's mom would really like a pair in maybe this color. She didn't exclusively say she did, but we talk about knitting and stuff, so maybe she'd like a pair. But yeah, this I may make as a gift knit, we'll see. Just because I feel like if I were to make mittens for myself, I kind of want it to be a color that I wear more often. I know I just said I want to wear more red, but this red has like blue tones to it, whereas I tend to lean for a red that has more of the orangey tones to it. So if it was more of the orangey red, yeah, for sure, but we'll see. I have time. So yeah, that's all I have this week. Just fully leaning into fall. Pretty much when I'm not working, I am just knitting or spinning, and I am bringing it with me everywhere I go. And two of my friends in my friend group have started more actively knitting, so that makes 4 of us now, and I'm just converting them all eventually. So that's been really fun, having like brunches and knit time and all of that. But yeah, I hope you are enjoying the fall season as much as I am so far in day 2, getting a lot of knits done. As always, I appreciate you watching. And if you like what you see, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, welcome. Maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss out on anything in the future. And it really does help me as well to kind of get my videos out there to a wider audience and all of that as well. So thanks again. We'll talk next time. Bye!